How was this journey for you?
It's been a crazy journey. Um, if you would have asked me like 6 years ago, like what I imagined that I'd be in this position that I'm in today, I would say, no way. I'm a dancer, I'm a singer, I'm an actor. I've always, with my social media specifically, I've always done, videos with a message. I feel like whether it's, a video, anti-bullying dance video, or a video about body image for young girls, or I've done videos with people of all races, all religions, all walks of life, way before October 7th. So that was always important to me to bring people together with music and dance. And then I made, my grandparents are Holocaust survivors. I made a Holocaust educational docu-series called How to Never Forget. I did that a few years ago before October 7th, when my grandpa passed away. I went to Poland with my mom and we made this
No,
series.
no, no.
It forever changed me. And I think all these things led me up to what I'm doing now, of course, just not even realizing it at the time. But that was the first time I introduced my followers to me being Jewish, not because I was hiding it by any means, but just because, I was a dancer, I was a singer, I was an actor. Um, and then, of course, when October 7th happened, something just completely took over me and was like, I have to do everything I can. I know if social media was around back during the Holocaust times, I know my grandparents would have done everything that they could. I know if they had a platform, if they had a voice, they would have done everything that they could. And I owe it to my grandparents, my ancestors, our current generation, and our future generations. I have over 14 million followers across platforms. And if I have the opportunity to try and combat some of this hate and this misinformation that is out there, I have to do everything that I can. Regarding this documentary, I've always done a lot with children. I've always danced with children. I always had a special connection to children. So now to kind of flip it around from being so happy and dancing to now do something so serious and so important. It's kind of surreal to me, but I feel like it's all been a part of my journey and has led me to um, these kids a voice, a platform. I did it first just on my social media, but now for Paramount to really believe in them and their terrible, terrible testimonies. It's 36 minutes long. It's not too long, but it's probably the
Mm.
hardest 36 minutes you'll go through, but the most important and the most necessary. And I'm just grateful Paramount is giving it a chance around the world.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine that you went into the kibbutzim and you talked to the kids. So you didn't only talk to the people that survived you.
I've been saying this a lot that like these kids are just so incredible and so resilient and so brave, and you see that so clearly in the film. It was definitely the hardest thing I've ever done, but the most important and the most necessary. And I've been saying like I didn't sleep at all while I was there, and it was very difficult, but I had to stay strong because these kids were staying strong. How am I going to be the one to break down when these kids are sitting there telling me something that happened to them a year after all the therapy they've probably gone through and the trauma and everything. On set, we had a psychologist on set with us to make sure these kids were good and comfortable. That
And,
was really important. And we
and
state that in the beginning of the film for sure. Honestly, I say that I feel like the film feels like a bit like a therapy session, not only for them, for me too, honestly. And these kids, they're the ones that kept me strong and kept me going. And looking them in the eye, it made me strong.
it feels like there is something you can't get across, and
Yeah.
like you can't make the people that are completely disconnected from reality to understand about this.
And that's
So
why I'm hoping by this, it's like these are children. This doesn't go into the conflict. This is not political. We're not talking about, anything else besides these kids. And I think, even with the clips that I have posted like on my social media, if you look through the comments, they're not just from Jews, they're just from people who are pro-Israel, from people that really had their minds open from watching this. And it has made a huge impact already. And I know now with it expanding globally, it's going to continue to do that.
being Jewish in this day and age, it's the most surreal thing ever. No, like you have them filming themselves on video, committing the atrocities, and you still can't say
People still
anything.
deny
Like,
it. I know, because you think of, in the Holocaust, people, they purposely tried to hide it, but
yeah,
we got to keep going, and it does make a difference. And every single thing that we do makes a difference, I promise. You need to get all of Mexico to watch it on Paramount.
What do you think that this challenge has not led you, but the kids? You focus a lot about healing around the documentary. What was the part that you made, like that you felt that it was the most important?
Listen, every moment with each kid was so important and I think was so healing for all of them. I think one moment specifically that I think was a really big breakthrough was with Ella, one of the young girls, Ella. She, since October 7th, her father was murdered by Hamas, and she was speaking out a lot, like traveling to speak all around the world and meeting with everyone. And she was very, very strong. And she said she never cried, she never broke down. And for the first time since October 7th, she broke down with me. We went to the attic of where her father was murdered. There was still blood on the floor. And it was a very, very kind of breakthrough of a moment. I don't know how else to explain it. And I think for both of us broke down. That was the only time I broke down in the filming. And we actually, after, there's a moment I told the cameras to cut and to let us have a moment together. And it was a huge breakthrough moment for her that she didn't have before, and a huge healing moment. And with all the kids, after every like interview, I made sure we did something fun with them because they are still kids, and they, I wanted to make sure that they had a moment after, doing something so difficult to, be a kid. And whether it was, if some of them wanted to just film a dance TikTok with me, or Aton, one of the boys who was taken hostage, on a motorcycle and now or motorbike, and now he rides motorbikes for therapy. And so he took me to like his motorbike park and showed me how he rides them. And I wanted to, really build a relationship with them. And still to this day, I speak with the families, I speak with the kids. It's really important for me. We brought one of the girls, Yaeli Don, who never went to America before. We brought her to America for the screenings. So all these kids, I mean, listen, they're going to deal with trauma for the rest of their life. It's just inevitable. But they're so strong. They're so resilient. They just want peace. Rotem, one of the boys, he lost both his parents. Both his parents were murdered by Hamas, and they did it right in front of him. And I asked him, how do you keep going? And he said he owes it to his parents, that he feels, especially his mother literally protected him and was murdered literally on top of him to protect him. He said he owes it to them. It would be a shame if he wouldn't continue to go and continue living and to keep, pushing forward after what his parents went through.
Do you think this way of healing, the way you portrayed it, the way you focused it, the way like all the documentary did, you think there's a key there for what's going to happen next of all the hurt and the tragedy? Because we're Jews and it's 1,000-year-old history about tragedy. But here we're trying to re-significance, to re-signify the whole event. You think there is a key there?
Listen, I think the healing is going to be a very, very long process. Whether it's the children that I interviewed or every released hostage or every hostage family, like no one is going to be healed or even start to heal until all the hostages are home. That's something like every Israeli that I've spoken to and the children. Even Yaeli Don, her father was murdered in captivity. And when we brought her to the premiere, she specifically said again, we all must not stop fighting for the hostages to be released and to come home. So that's first and foremost. And, unfortunately, Israel has always been under attack. This way before October 7th, these kids grew up with rockets and missiles attacking them. That's why what happened on October 7th, at first, everyone thought it was another day and just go into your safe room. Every home has a safe room in it. That's how you've grown up. I'm always going to hope for the best and always hope that this war ends and real change is made. And, I believe in peace. I believe in coexistence. I believe in unity. I do. Some might call me crazy, but I do. And I think that, again, if you think about the history, if you're speaking about Jews in general, yes, from the beginning of the time Jews have been on this earth, people have always, always, always tried to take Jews off of this planet, but we always prevail, we always rise above, and we always grow stronger from all of these forms of tragedy. And I believe that will happen again.